I think the main reason I would say is because even in 2016, black people were still afraid to be themselves.
In one of the biggest cities in the world with approximately 8,500,000 people, London is one of the most diverse. Although only 13 to 14% are Black, African, Caribbean or Black British, the Black population of London is concentrated across the city. Being a part of a minority in such a diverse city, discrimination is still alive. And this doesn't just apply to the ethnicity, but gender and sexuality.
Would you say that you feel free?
Not totally. I still think there's restrictions placed on me that whether it's to do with sexuality or mainly the colour of my skin, I don't feel truly free. I think that's down. Some races will feel truly free, but for me personally, I think the black race isn't free yet.
Even as someone that is part of the alternative scene quite clearly, I look like a Christmas tree most days. I'm covered in tattoos and piercings and things like that, so I can get a lot of stick from the black community just because of the way I look. Like, that's not even going into the fact that I'm gay and like openly gay, and the work that I do and the hobbies that I have and things like that. But I do think that things are changing with that.
Homophobia is a consistent element with the black community and has ties with religion, both Christianity and Islam. However, homosexuality within these religions has become a controversial topic.
Only the righteous are secure. Thus says the Lord of hosts, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
In the Bible, Leviticus 18:22 states, "Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination." The Bible continues to say, Leviticus 20:13, "If a man lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them."
Yeah, I went to church until I was about 11, 12-ish, but only because I was always at my nan's house on the weekend to church 3-4 times a week. So we went with her, basically. So it wasn't like a conscious decision to go to church. Neither of my parents are particularly religious, but my grandmother was. So I did go to church most Sundays for about 12 years. Obviously, if you've got someone that is a leader of a church or another religious building and congregation, their thoughts on most things are going to come out in their sermons, and if people agree with that, they're going to keep coming, you know. So then that in turn will sort of sway how that, let's say, church deals with certain issues and talks about certain issues. I don't think it's a general, this kind of Christianity is very, very, and that kind of religion is, you know, against that. And especially with Christianity, it can be very varied because there's so many different subsets of it and different types of churches and teachings and things like that. So I think it can vary from church to church.
Religion isn't the only influence within the black community, as cultural music has and still plays a huge part within. Dancehall music takes influence from Caribbean culture, as topics such as homophobia are freely expressed throughout the lyrics of artists such as Vybz Kartel, Beenie Man and Buju Banton. Yet the genre is still enjoyed by the black LGBT community.
I want to some blood clot boy there. Cuss girl about them favor man, but you still want try them. Fucking waste man. Yes, in a bun girl, you a back fist man, your head top get a broke off.
The black LGBT community, the reason why I think they love dancehall music is because it's just a lovable music, innit? The vibe, like as soon as you hear the beat, it's all in the beat. Do you know what I mean? And then the lyrics, they don't really listen to the lyrics too tough. They just listen to the beat. It makes you move, and that's what they enjoy. When did I start writing music? I was probably about like 13. I was young, I was in school, but I didn't really take it further, you know, because I didn't really know myself back then. I picked dancehall music because obviously like that's one of my favorite genres of music that I listen to. And at first it started as a joke, like I thought like, well, you know, how would dancehall music sound with like a lesbian DJ doing it? And then obviously I got the forwardings to, you know, keep going. So I just thought, yeah.
Me no right pandage and my quick to talk up the thing and about lesbian. I tell to a thing we no fight over, man. I DJ the teacher me learn from that. Cucumber fish.
What do I write about? I write about just things that I've been through, like, you know, homophobia, and just my life, like, you know, me, girls, that sort of stuff. Growing up in Brixton, I had a cushy life, you know. I'm not even gonna say that, you know, I had a cushy life, but you know, as you get older and you start looking more, as you can see, I'm a stud. Start looking like a boy. They got a couple Jamaican guys down there that like to run them out, you know what I mean? So that's why with the tunes that I make, I just base it off of them people there.
It's your bumbo clot problem. I will may ask them, cause them a chat a bag of shit when me pass them.
Within the lesbian community, labels have become a controversial topic, as stud lesbians are expected to take on the masculine role as a straight man would, and femme lesbians to take on the feminine role as a straight woman would. Yet gay black men in the black community face the ongoing issue of what it means to be a man. The black community hold black men to a dangerous standard of being overly masculine, to the point where it affects the way black men express themselves, their social appearance and their sexuality. It has become such a huge issue because of the growth of men who are embracing their femininity, so there's now an urge to reclaim masculinity.
It's the same because, and my dad explained me that when, like a couple months after I came out, because you have to affirm yourself as a man, because you're not a white man, you're a black man, so you have to struggle more for life. Like, you have to affirm yourself, like, I'm a man, I'm here, I'm doing my stuff. And that's what it is, like, being a man and being gay and being black, like, you're gonna suffer so much, or you're already gonna suffer because you're black, because you have to stand out more. And like being gay, it's gonna be harder for you, and I didn't want that to happen, because you cannot stand up like I'm here, I'm a man. Like, of course I do that, I'm here, I'm a man, it doesn't matter what. But it's harder because we taken as a joke, and in the black community there's that thing that we need to be a man, you need to step up, because there's this discrimination, it still exists, this kind of discrimination of white men and black men.
Hypermasculinity in the black community dates back to slavery, where black male slaves were presented to be useful for hard labour and heavy lifting. Those who were seen as too weak or too feminine were beaten, raped or killed. However, there was something far worse going on in these plantations compared to the normal plantations. On the seasoning plantations, they used a process called buck breaking. This is where white slave owners would rape black men in front of the other black slaves to break his strength, masculinity and spirit. This was to show the slaves that a black man is not a leader because they, the white man, were able to make them submit to them sexually. And this is why it has become an ongoing struggle within the black masculinity to gain back that power, strength and masculinity throughout the community.
When I first went to Jamaica, like, I've been to Jamaica loads of times, but like I think 2009 I was probably about 20 something. That's the first time I had like homophobic, you know, encounters out there with a couple guys. Some guy, he just wanted to like lick me in my head, you know, because of the way I dressed. Like, he wanted to like take me out. So when I was in Jamaica, I was in Ochi. I went into Juicy Patty to buy my patties. And I come out and there was this guy sitting in the car and he said like, yo, we don't deal in that around here, you know. So I was like, who are you talking to, you know what I mean? You know, my dad, he's like, I must put an address. So I was like, well, you know, blood clot by my address then, you know. I started cussing him, and then I got in the car and then like he must have wanted to come and like drag me out of the car and stuff like that, but my taxi driver just screwed on him, you know.
How can someone value themselves when they're constantly told that their sexuality is a sin and the colour of their skin is violent? For the black community to be able to fully accept homosexuality, they have to start by analysing and accepting their past and acknowledge the evolution of their culture.
It's so important that we have visibility within the black, BME, people of colour, LGBT community. It's not that we're separate, it's just that we are trying to integrate black pride into mainstream pride. But if we lived in an ideal world, we wouldn't need a black pride. We're strong, we're visible, we're proud, and we're absolutely loving the fact that we have a safe space to be who we want to be.
So it's difficult for me to answer for an entire community because we're not just talking about a community that is in a very cosmopolitan area in London, we're talking about a community that is all over the world, and with that you have other issues, other policies, laws and perspectives as well.
Here, like, you are more free. People don't judge that much, or even if they judge, they don't do nothing.
And in 2016 now, that's when I performed for the gay community in Jamaica, and that was an amazing feeling.
So what's the gay?
When I was in the 3rd grade, I thought that I was gay, cause I could draw. My uncle was, and I kept my room straight. I told my mom, tears rushing down my face. She's like, Ben, you've loved girls since before pre-K. Trippin'. Yeah, I guess she had a point, didn't she? Bunch of stereotypes all in my head. I remember doing the math, like, yeah, I'm good at Little League. A preconceived idea of what it all meant. But those that like the same sex had the characteristics. The right-wing conservatives think it's a decision, and you can be cured with some treatment and religion. Man-made rewiring of a predisposition, playing God. Oh nah, here we go. America the brave, still